settle in now and let the room around you become quiet. Tonight, we travel to a lonely mountain ridge after the world below has gone silent. The roads are empty. The towns in the valley are dark. Snow has gathered along the old guardrails, and high above everything, where the wind moves through antennas and frozen pines, one small radio station still has power. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is only a warm light in a dark place, a soft signal moving through the night, and a quiet room where someone still believes that calm words are worth sending into the world. Before we begin, if you enjoy quiet sleep stories like this, you can subscribe for more calm journeys, peaceful survival stories, and relaxing bedtime narration. You can also leave a comment and tell us where you are listening from, what time it is where you are, and what kind of safe place you would like to hear about next. It is always wonderful to see how far these stories travel around the world. Now, get comfortable, let the room around you grow quiet, and allow the story to begin. The mountain road is almost invisible beneath the snow. It climbs in long curves through dark pines, rising higher above the valley with every turn. The asphalt appears only in narrow strips where the wind has swept the snow aside. Everywhere else, the road is white, soft, and quiet, marked by your slow tire tracks and the occasional fallen branch. Below, the valley has already disappeared into evening. A few rooftops can still be guessed at through the trees, but there are no steady lights, no lines of traffic, no distant windows glowing in rows. The towns below are shapes now, empty shapes. Their streets are covered in snow. Their signs hang still. Their homes have gone quiet one by one until the whole valley seems to be holding its breath. The sky is low and heavy, not fully storming, not yet, but preparing. A gray-blue ceiling hangs above the ridge, and the first stars are hidden behind cloud. The air feels colder each time the road climbs. It presses against the windshield and gathers at the edges of the glass. The wipers move slowly, pushing aside fine snow that falls in soft, tired lines. You keep driving, not quickly. The mountain does not reward speed now. Every turn asks for patience. Every shadow beside the road could be a drift. Every patch of ice must be crossed gently. The engine hums low. The heater breathes warm air against the glass, and the old radio on the dashboard hisses with static. At first, the static is meaningless, a long gray sound, empty and constant. Then, near the top of the ridge, something changes. Under the static, very faintly, a tone appears. Not music exactly, not speech. A thin thread of signal wavering in and out as the road turns between the pines. You slow without meaning to. The sound becomes clearer for a few seconds, then fades, then returns. Somewhere up here, something is still transmitting. The road curves around a stand of frozen spruce. And there it is. The radio station stands on the ridge like a small square of warmth against the mountain night. It is an old building, low and practical, weathered siding, a sloped roof buried under snow, and a red aviation light blinking slowly at the top of the antenna tower beside it. The tower rises high into the clouds, dark metal lines braced against the wind. Several smaller antennas lean from the roof. A satellite dish points toward a sky that may no longer answer. But the windows glow, only a little, amber light behind frosted glass. You stop at the edge of the lot. Snow crunches under the tires, then silence returns. The engine idles for a moment, and the dashboard radio hisses again. This close to the station, the signal strengthens. A low tone passes through the static. Then a voice, broken and distant, but real. If anyone can hear this, you are not alone. The words fade. Static returns. You turn off the engine. The silence that follows feels enormous. Outside, the mountain wind moves around the car. Snow ticks softly against the windows. The red light on the tower blinks, disappears, then blinks again, steady as a slow heartbeat in the dark. You sit for a moment before opening the door, not from fear, from reverence. After so much silence below, a signal is almost a sacred thing. Then you step out into the cold. The snow reaches above your boots. The air is sharp, thin, and clean. Your breath rises white and is carried away instantly. The station building is only 20 steps away, but the wind makes even that short distance feel like a crossing. You pull your coat closer and walk toward the light. The front door is metal, painted once in blue, now scratched and faded by years of weather. A small sign beside it reads Mountain Ridge Public Radio in letters cracked by cold and sun. Under that, someone has taped a newer note inside a plastic sleeve. Owen Air, please enter quietly. You stand there for one breath. Then you open the door and step inside. Chapter 1. The building above the silent valley. Warmth meets you first. Not the warmth of a house full of people. Not that. A smaller warmth. The kind made by machines. One wall heater, old insulation, a kettle recently boiled, and rooms that have been closed against the mountain wind for many days. It touches your face, your fingers, your throat, and the body receives it before the mind has words. The entry room is narrow. Coats hang from pegs along one wall. A pair of snow boots stands on a rubber mat, half dry, half crusted with ice. A shovel leans beside the door. Above it, a hand-drawn map of the ridge has been pinned to corkboard, marked with antenna lines, generator paths, and a red circle around the fuel shed. Someone has written "Keep clear of DRIFTS" in black marker. The station smells of dust, warm electronics, coffee, paper, and old wood. You close the door gently behind you. The outside wind becomes muffled at once. Inside, a low hum fills the building. It comes from several directions at once. The heater, the battery bank, the transmitter room, a refrigerator running on careful power, and somewhere deeper inside, the faint turning of a ventilation fan. The sounds blend together until they become the station's breathing. A hallway leads forward. The floor is worn linoleum, dull green in the center from many years of footsteps. Fluorescent lights hang overhead, but only every other one is turned on. The ones that remain lit are warm and low, not bright enough to feel harsh. Along the walls, old posters advertise local music festivals, weather alerts, community call-in shows, and school closings from years when schools still called in closings. You move slowly. Each step creaks faintly. On a small table beside the hallway, there is a stack of handwritten notes held down by a cracked ceramic mug. Some are technical reminders. Check battery temperature. Clear ice from tower anchors. Rotate generator load. Others are messages written for anyone who might arrive. There is tea in the cabinet. Do not run the heater above setting 3 unless wind turbines are turning. If you use the transmitter, log the time. If you hear someone answer, write everything down. You read the last line twice. If you hear someone answer, the hallway opens into the main studio. It is not large, but it feels important in the way small rooms can when they have a purpose. A broadcast desk sits near the center, facing a wide interior window that looks into the equipment room. On the desk are 2 microphones on adjustable arms, a mixing board with fatting labels, headphones, a notebook, 2 pens, a small lamp, and an old red sign above the door that glows quietly. Owen Air. The light is on. The room is empty, but the station is broadcasting. You approach the desk carefully, as if someone might return at any moment. The chair is pushed back slightly. A blanket hangs over it. Beside the microphone, a mug of tea has gone cold. The notebook is open to a page filled with times and short lines of text. 1800, signal stable. 1830 valley, repeater silent. 1900, played Bach cello. 1930, message repeated. 2000, wind increasing. 2015, no replies. Below the notes, written more slowly, are the words, "Keep speaking anyway." You stand in the room and listen to the hum. The transmitter room beyond the glass glows with small green and amber lights. Needles on old meters tremble. A rack of equipment blinks in careful rhythms. Cables run like black vines behind the panels. A small fan turns inside one of the units, producing a soft whir that rises and falls. This is the heart of the station. Still beating, you look through the studio window toward the valley. The glass is dark, and your reflection appears faintly over the world outside. Behind your reflection, beyond the station yard, the mountain falls away into shadow. Far below, the valley is black. No visible towns, no roads, no headlights. Only the white shapes of fields and roofs under clouded night. The red tower light flashes again outside. For one moment, the antenna cables appear against the snow. Then darkness. The room feels less abandoned than waiting. You take off your gloves slowly and place them near the heater vent. Your fingers sting as warmth returns. You hang your coat over the back of a chair. The cold remains in your sleeves, your boots, your hair, but it is already loosening. On the desk, beneath the notebook, there is a printed sheet with the station protocol. Emergency broadcast loop. 1 station identification. 2 weather observation. 3 calm message. 4 music segment. 5 listening window. 6 repeat every hour. Someone has kept this going. Hour by hour. Day by day. Maybe alone. Maybe with others. Before others left. You do not know, but the signal is still moving through the night. You sit at the desk, not yet touching anything, and let the meaning of that settle quietly. Outside, the mountain is dark. Inside, the radio station hums softly. And somewhere, perhaps far beyond the ridge, perhaps only in the hope of the room, someone may still be listening. Chapter 2. The transmitter room. The transmitter room is warmer than the studio. It holds heat the way old machines do, steadily and without comfort. When you open the door, the hum becomes fuller, layered, almost musical. Fans turn behind metal grills. Relays click softly. Indicator lights blink in green, yellow, and red. The air smells of warm dust, metal, ozone, and the faint, dry scent of aging circuit boards. You step inside and close the door gently. The walls are lined with equipment racks, some newer, some much older. Labels written by different hands mark the switches and cables. Main transmitter, backup exciter, emergency power bus, tower heater, valley repeater, archive deck, aux input. A laminated chart hangs from a hook showing frequencies, antenna directions, and old coverage maps. On the map, the station's signal used to spread widely across the mountain communities, down into the valley, along the river road, out toward farms, towns, and highways. Now those places are dark, but the map remains, a memory of reach. You walk slowly along the racks, reading the lights. Some units are dark, powered down to save energy. Others remain alive, carefully chosen. The main transmitter is running at reduced power. The backup battery system shows partial charge. A small screen displays wind input from the ridge turbine, rising and falling as gusts pass over the mountain. Another gauge shows the generator fuel level. Not full, not empty, enough for care. You understand the station's rhythm now. It is surviving in the same way any shelter survives after the world has failed, by conserving, rotating, reducing, choosing what matters most. Not all rooms heated, not all lights on, not full broadcast power, not constant music, enough signal to remain present, enough warmth to keep equipment from freezing, enough power to speak into the night. A kettle rests on a metal shelf near the back of the room, placed there because this is the warmest space in the building. Beside it are tea bags, instant coffee, a jar of honey hardened by cold, and a tin of crackers. Someone has made this technical room into a small kitchen of necessity. You fill the kettle from a water container and set it on the low electric plate. The plate glows after a moment, quietly, carefully, while water heats. You check the log sheet hanging beside the battery bank. The handwriting changes over time. At the beginning, several people made notes. Initials appear beside readings, jokes in the margins, small complaints about wind, sleep, static, and one stubborn fuse. Then the handwriting narrows. Fewer initials, shorter notes, more careful power management. Eventually, one hand remains. The last entries are simple, still transmitting. No reply. Snow at tower base. Played music at 22:00. Signal stable. Keep going. You stand with the paper in your hand, and the room seems to grow quieter around you. Doomsday stories are often imagined as noise. Sirens, alarms, breaking glass, running feet. But sometimes the end of the world is mostly maintenance. Keeping batteries warm, clearing snow from vents, logging signal strength, eating crackers beside a transmitter, repeating a calm message because silence is worse than effort. The kettle begins to murmur. You make tea in a chipped mug and carry it back toward the studio, leaving the transmitter room door partly open so the warmth can drift. The mug warms both hands. The steam carries the smell of black tea and old honey. Back at the desk, the ON air sign glows. You put on the headphones. At first, you hear only the station's own output. A soft bed of static, the low tone used between messages, and then a recording. A calm voice, slightly worn by repetition. This is Mountain Ridge Public Radio, broadcasting from the North Ridge on emergency power. If you can hear this, you are not alone. The time is unknown. The weather is snow and low visibility. Shelter if you can. Keep warm. Keep water close. Do not travel at night unless necessary. We will continue broadcasting as long as we are able. The recording pauses. Then music begins. A piano piece. Slow, simple, and full of space. It plays through the headphones and through the small studio monitor at low volume. The notes move into the room like someone lighting lamps one by one. They do not deny the silence outside. They soften it. You sit with the tea and listen. The music changes the building. The hallway feels less empty. The dark valley feels less final. The tower outside feels less lonely. The machines seem to hum with more purpose. When the piano fades, the station opens a listening window. Static, only static. You watch the receiver meter for movement. It trembles slightly, then steadies. No voice, no call sign, no faraway answer. Still, the room waits. For 3 minutes, nothing happens. Then the loop begins again. This is Mountain Ridge Public Radio. Chapter 3, Clearing the Tower Path. Before the next broadcast hour, you check the tower path. The station cannot remain alive from inside alone. Outside equipment needs attention too. Snow builds where wind slows. Ice forms on anchor points. The small access path between the building and the tower base must stay visible, or the station can become trapped in its own weather. You put your coat back on. The fabric has warmed slightly near the vent, and that small comfort matters. Gloves, hat, scarf, headlamp. A handheld radio clipped to the inside pocket, tuned to the station's own frequency. You take the shovel from the entry room and open the door. Cold enters at once. It moves around your ankles, your wrists, your face. The station warmth retreats behind you, but the light from the hallway spills across the snow. You step outside and pull the door mostly closed, so heat does not escape too quickly. The mountain night is stronger now. Snow falls in fine diagonal lines. The antenna tower rises above you, disappearing into low cloud. Its red light blinks steadily, staining the snow for one brief moment, then releasing it back to darkness. The tower makes a faint sound in the wind, not a whistle exactly, more a vibration through metal. The path to the tower is half buried. You begin clearing it. The shovel cuts through soft, new snow first, then harder packed layers beneath. Each scoop lands along the side, building low banks that may help mark the path if more snow falls. You work slowly enough not to sweat. The cold air fills the lungs. Your breath turns white in the headlamp beam. From the radio in your pocket, the station voice speaks softly. This is Mountain Ridge Public Radio. If you can hear this, you are not alone. Hearing the message outside is different. Inside the studio, it felt like a broadcast. Out here, under the tower, with the valley black below and snow crossing the beam of your light, it feels like a thread connecting the building to the wider dark. The voice is small, but it travels. It rises from the transmitter, climbs the tower, and leaves the mountain in every direction the antenna can still reach. You clear around the first anchor point. Ice has formed on the cable, shining like glass in the headlamp. You do not strike it hard. Metal under stress deserves caution. You brush away snow, check the base, make sure the cable is free where it enters the ground. The work is practical, quiet, necessary. The second anchor is more buried. You kneel to clear it with gloved hands where the shovel would be too rough. Snow fills the cuffs of your coat, and you shake it out before it melts. The wind pushes at your back, then drops suddenly. In the pause, you hear the valley silence below. No engines, no dogs, no distant town hum, no human machinery, except the station behind you. You look down through the trees. Cloud covers most of the valley, but there are breaks. The snowfields below are pale. The old road cuts through them in a faint line. Farther away, a dark town lies beside the river. You know it is there only by shape, not light. The loneliness of it comes gently, not as fear, as scale. One station, one tower, one signal, One room of warm equipment above miles of quiet. You finish clearing the tower path and return toward the building. At the door, you pause and look back. The red light blinks again. The path is visible now, a narrow trench through snow between the building and the tower. It does not look like much, but it means the next check will be easier. It means the station can be maintained a little longer. It means someone cared for the signal tonight. You step inside. Warmth returns. You close the door carefully, stamp snow from your boots onto the mat, and hang the shovel where you found it. The radio in your pocket continues to play the broadcast, slightly muffled under your coat. We will continue broadcasting as long as we are able. You remove your gloves. Your fingers sting again as they warm. The station hum greets you like a living thing. You are glad to be back inside. Chapter 4. The Archive of Voices. After the tower path is clear, you discover the archive room. It is behind a door-marked music library, though the label has curled at the edges from age. Inside, the air is cooler and drier than the studio. Shelves fill the room from floor to ceiling. Old vinyl records stand in crates along one wall. CDs sit in plastic cases. Cassette tapes fill drawers labeled by decade and genre. Hard drives are stacked in padded boxes. Handwritten playlists hang from clipboards. The room is not large, but it holds thousands of voices, not only songs. Interviews, local news segments, weather reports, school concerts, town meetings, late-night call-ins, storytelling hours, emergency announcements, holiday greetings, dedications, farm reports, lost dog notices, birthday messages, and recordings of people talking about ordinary life before ordinary life disappeared. You turn on a small desk lamp. Its light pools over a table covered with index cards. Each card lists a recording. One reads, Valley Choir Winter Concert. Another, Old Mill Flood Interview. Another, Night Jazz Request Hour. Another, Children Reading Poems, May 12. Another, Storm Closure Special. You run your fingers along the edge of the cards. Here, the world below has not entirely vanished. It has become sound waiting on shelves. You choose a tape at random from a drawer labeled Community Voices. The cassette is clear plastic with a white label. Someone has written Harvest Festival calls in blue pen. You carry it carefully to the studio and place it near the tape deck. The equipment looks old but functional. You press eject. The deck opens with a soft mechanical click. The tape slides in. You do not broadcast it immediately. First, you listen on headphones. There is hiss, then a voice laughing, then another voice answering from somewhere that used to be normal. A caller thanking neighbors for helping repair a barn roof. Someone asking for a song. A child saying hello to a grandmother. The host chuckling softly. A weather update about frost. Music fading in. You listen for only a minute. It is enough. The recording is too alive to play casually, but too precious not to honor. You cue a short piece of gentle music after it, then return to the microphone. The protocol says calm message, weather observation, music segment, listening window, repeat. But there is room within care for tenderness. You press the microphone button. The ON air light seems to glow more deeply. Your voice enters the headphones a fraction of a second after you speak. This is Mountain Ridge Public Radio, broadcasting from the North Ridge on emergency power. If you can hear this, you are not alone. The station is warm tonight. Snow is falling on the tower. The valley is quiet. We are keeping the signal open. You pause. The sound of your own breathing is close. Tonight, we are playing a few voices from the archive, from a time when the valley called in to share small things. If you are listening somewhere in the dark, let these voices remind you that ordinary kindness existed here and may exist again. You fade up the tape. For the next minute, the old callers return to the air. A laugh, a greeting, a thank you, a few words about cold weather. Someone dedicating a song to someone who worked late. The host's warm voice tying it all together. Then you fade gently into piano. The music covers the transition like snow covering tracks. You sit back and let the broadcast move outward. The voices climb the tower and leave the ridge. They cross empty roads and silent roofs. They move over frozen fields, through broken windows, along river bends, into abandoned cars, around closed schools, over barns, across the dark valley. Maybe no one hears them. Maybe someone does. In a shelter far away, a battery radio may crackle to life beside a blanket. In a farmhouse cellar, someone may lift their head. In a snowed-in truck on a forgotten road, a person may hear laughter from before and close their eyes. You do not know. The not knowing is part of the work. You only send the signal. The listening window opens after the music. Static returns. Long, soft, endless. You wait. Nothing. Then, just before the window ends, the meter jumps. A small movement. A flicker. You lean closer. The headphones hiss. The receiver crackles once. There may be a voice, or only weather bouncing against old equipment. You hold your breath. Then it is gone. No words. No answer. But not nothing. You write in the log. 2247, possible carrier. No audio. Then you underline possible once. The station continues humming. Chapter 5. The message into the night. The next message is simpler. You do not try to explain everything. The world beyond the mountain is too large for explanation, and anyone listening does not need a speech. They need steadiness, a calm voice, practical words, proof that someone is awake. You adjust the microphone. Outside the studio window, snow falls past the glass in fine lines. The tower light blinks red against the dark. Inside, the desk lamp makes a warm circle around the notebook. You press the button. This is Mountain Ridge Public Radio. The words feel different now that your own voice carries them, broadcasting from the North Ridge on emergency power. You look at the log, the protocol, the weather notes, then beyond them to the window. If you can hear this, you are not alone. You pause long enough for the sentence to matter. The weather here is snow, low cloud, and steady wind from the west. Visibility is poor on the upper road. The temperature is below freezing and falling. If you are sheltered, stay sheltered. If you have water, keep it close to your body. If you have a fire, bank it carefully. If you have a radio, conserve your battery when you can. We will broadcast at the top and bottom of each hour. You breathe in, then you add something not written in the protocol. If tonight feels long, let it become smaller. Think only of the room you are in, the blanket around you, the cup in your hand, the next breath, the next hour. You do not have to solve the whole world tonight. You only have to remain. You release the button. The room is quiet, except for the hum. You sit still for a moment, feeling the words continue without you, moving through the transmitter, through the tower, into the weather. Then you play music, not dramatic music, not anything too bright. A low cello recording from the archive. The kind of music that sounds like a warm wooden room, like lamplight, like someone sitting nearby without needing to speak. While it plays, you walk to the small kitchen corner near the office. The kitchen is really only a counter, a sink, 2 cabinets, and a narrow window looking toward the generator shed. But someone has kept it orderly. There are tins of soup, tea, crackers, dried fruit, a few candles, matches, a hand crank flashlight, and a row of mugs from local businesses that may no longer exist. You choose a blue mug that says Ridge Road Diner. The diner is probably dark now. Maybe snow has drifted against its door. Maybe the booths are still inside, red vinyl and chrome, waiting in the quiet. Maybe the coffee machine stands cold behind the counter. Maybe one day someone will clean it, light it, and serve breakfast again. The thought is sad for a moment, then strangely gentle. The world ended in pieces, but not everything has to remain ended. You make tea. The kettle takes longer here than in the transmitter room, but you are not in a hurry. The cello plays through a small speaker in the hallway, low enough to blend with the station hum. You stand near the counter, warming your hands around the mug, looking at the window. Outside, the generator shed is a squat, dark shape under snow. Beyond it, pines move slowly in the wind. The station is very small up here, but small things can matter. A match flame, a cup of tea, a cleared path, a steady voice, a red light on a tower. You return to the studio before the listening window. The cello fades. Static opens. You put on the headphones again. At first, nothing. Then static shifts. A whisper under it. Not clear. Not enough. You adjust the receiver slowly, careful not to lose the frequency. The sound strengthens for half a second. There is a click, maybe a transmission key, maybe interference. Then a voice, so faint it could almost be imagined. Here, you freeze. The word disappears into static. You wait. The meter trembles. Another fragment comes. A ridge. Then nothing. Your hand moves to the log before the mind catches up. 23:31 faint voice. Possible words. Here/ridge. You do not call back immediately. You wait until the window ends, then press the microphone button with both hands steady on the desk. This is Mountain Ridge Public Radio. We heard a weak transmission at 23:31. If you can hear us, you are not alone. We will continue to listen at the top and bottom of each hour. Stay sheltered. Stay warm. We are here. You release the button. The room feels different. Not louder, not safer, but less empty. Somewhere out there, perhaps, in the deep dark beyond the tower, another person has heard the signal. Chapter 6. The Small Cot Room. After midnight, the station settles into a slower rhythm. Message, music, listening window, log entry, power check, tea, snow check, repeat. The repetition does not feel mechanical now. It feels like care. Each cycle keeps the room anchored in time. Each message places a little warmth into the dark. Each listening window opens a door, even if no one steps through. The storm outside remains steady, but not severe. Snow gathers on the windowsills. The tower light blinks. The wind turbines turn when gusts are strong enough, then slow again. The battery meter rises a little, falls a little, holds. You find the cot room behind the office. It is barely a room, more like a storage closet that someone made livable. There is a narrow cot with folded blankets, a pillow in a clean case, a small shelf with books, a battery lantern, wool socks, and a paper taped to the wall that says sleep when the loop is stable. The loop is stable. For now, you stand in the doorway and feel the body recognize the cot before you decide to use it. The digging cold from the drive, the tower path, the long listening, the emotional weight of the faint reply. All of it settles into your shoulders. You set an alarm for the next listening window. The station can run the recorded loop for a while. The transmitter is stable. The vent fans are moving. The heater is low. The kettle is off. The door is locked. The tower path has been cleared. The log is up to date. Enough has been done for the next hour. You sit on the cot and remove your boots. The relief is immediate. Dry socks, warm blanket, the small room lit by the battery lantern. A faint line of studio light under the door, the hum of equipment through the wall, the distant sound of music playing low between messages. You lie down without fully undressing. This is not ordinary sleep. It is station sleep. Ready sleep. The kind where boots remain near the floor, coat within reach, radio on the crate beside the cot. But even ready sleep can be deep if the room feels safe enough. The blanket is wool, heavy and slightly rough. It holds warmth well. You pull it over your shoulders and listen. Through the wall, the recorded message begins again. This is Mountain Ridge Public Radio. If you can hear this, you are not alone. The words are muffled now, softened by the wall, the blanket, the small cot room. They no longer sound like something you are operating. They sound like something holding the building together. The music follows. Soft piano this time. You close your eyes. Images rise slowly. The dark mountain road. The first weak signal in the car. The amber station windows. The ON air sign. The transmitter lights. The tower path in snow. The archive voices. The possible reply. The logbook line. Each one appears and settles. You do not need to keep watch over all of them at once. The station is keeping watch too. The red light above the tower blinks. The transmitter hums. The batteries hold. The recorded loop speaks. The receiver listens. The mountain wind moves around the walls. You rest inside the system of small steadiness. For a while, sleep comes only lightly. The mind listens for alarms, changes in hum, footsteps that are not there, a voice through the radio. But gradually, the sounds become familiar. The hum is steady. The music is steady. The wind is steady. Your breathing slows to join them. The cot is narrow, but it is enough. The room is small, but it is warm. The world is wounded, but the station is still speaking. For now, that is enough to rest. Chapter 7. The answer at dawn. The alarm wakes you before dawn. For a moment, you do not remember where you are. Then the station hum returns. The cot room, the wool blanket, the radio on the crate, the soft blue darkness at the edges of the door, the mountain. You sit up slowly. The building is still warm. The loop is still running. You put on your boots and return to the studio. The ON air sign glows red above the door. The notebook waits open on the desk. Snow has thickened on the window, turning the outside world into a pale blur. The transmitter meters remain steady. The listening window is about to begin. You sit down, put on the headphones, and fade the music lower. Static opens. The first minute gives nothing, only hiss. The second minute is the same. You write the time in the log and prepare to mark no reply. Then the meter rises. Not a flicker this time. A slow, weak climb. You hold still. Static bends. A voice enters the headphones, far away, broken by weather, but undeniably human. Mountain Ridge, we hear you. The words vanish. You do not move. The voice returns. This is East Shelter. 3 people, battery low, heard music. Static swallows the rest. Your hand trembles only slightly as you write. 0512 confirmed voice. East Shelter. 3 people, battery low, heard music. You press the microphone button. This is Mountain Ridge Public Radio. East Shelter, we hear you. Your transmission was received at 0512. 3 people, battery low, heard music, stay sheltered, conserve power. We will broadcast instructions at the top of the hour and listen for you again in 10 minutes. You release the button. Then you sit back. The room is very quiet. The world has not returned all at once. The valley is still dark. The roads are still buried. The towns are still silent. The station is still small, still fragile, still on emergency power. But somewhere beyond the ridge, 3 people heard music in the night. 3 people know the station exists, and the station knows they exist. The dawn outside is pale and slow. Clouds begin to thin over the valley. Not enough for sunlight yet, but enough to reveal shapes below. The road, the tree line, the roofs, the river, the white fields. The silence is no longer quite the same silence. You prepare the next broadcast carefully. Weather, power conservation, listening schedule, reassurance, music. Your voice is calm when you speak. This is Mountain Ridge Public Radio, broadcasting from the North Ridge. We have received a confirmed transmission from East Shelter. If others are listening, continue to conserve power and transmit only during listening windows if your battery is low. You are not alone. We will keep the signal open. You pause. Outside, the tower light blinks for the last time before daylight makes it less visible. Then you add, to everyone listening in shelters, vehicles, houses, basements, barns, stations, cabins, and anywhere else the signal can reach. Remain where you are if you are safe. Keep warm. Share water. Rest when you can. Morning is coming over the valley now. You play the cello piece again. The notes fill the room. This time, they do not feel like memory only. They feel like a bridge. The music leaves the station, climbs the antenna, crosses snow, valley, road, and ridge, and reaches at least one place where people are listening. You stand by the window while it plays. Below, the valley remains wounded and quiet. Above, the station continues, and in the pale dawn, the last radio station on the mountain no longer feels like the last voice in the world. It feels like the first thread of a new one. Final descent, the signal in the quiet. Now let the story become softer. The night has passed over the mountain. The tower has held. The batteries have held. The transmitter has stayed warm. The signal has crossed the valley. Someone has answered. Nothing more needs to be solved right now. The station is quiet in the pale morning. Snow rests on the roof. Snow rests on the tower braces. Snow rests along the cleared path. The red light at the top of the antenna is faint now in the coming day. The windows glow less brightly because the sky outside has softened from black to gray. Inside, the rooms are warm. The studio lamp is still on. The ON air sign still glows. The notebook lies open. The headphones rest beside the microphone. The mug of tea is almost empty. The transmitter hum continues through the wall. Breathe in slowly. Warm electronics, tea, and old paper. Breathe out. The body settles. Breathe in. Snow light at the window. Breathe out. The station rests. There is no need to drive down the mountain now. No need to cross the valley. No need to repair the whole world. No need to answer every silence. The station has done what it could. It kept speaking. It kept listening. It kept a light on in the dark. Let your feet rest from the snow. They do not need to clear the tower path now. Let your hands soften. They do not need to hold the microphone, the shovel, the mug, or the pen. Let your shoulders lower. They do not need to carry the whole valley. Let your face become calm. The signal is still moving. Softly, steadily, out from the room, through the transmitter, up the tower, across the ridge, down over the silent roads, past dark houses, over white fields, toward anyone who may be listening. If thoughts appear, let them become static fatting at the edge of the signal. If memories appear, let them become music from the archive, warm and distant. If worries appear, let them wait outside in the snow, where the morning light is slowly growing. You are inside the station now. The small cot waits in the back room. The blanket is warm. The radio is low. The alarm is set. The next listening window is not yet here. Enough has been done. The world outside is still uncertain, but the room around you is steady. The machines hum in their careful rhythm. The heater breathes softly. The building creaks once in the cold and then becomes still again. Breathe in and out, again, in and out. The last radio station on the mountain is not loud. It is only a quiet place that refuses to let the silence be complete. A warm window, a red light, a calm voice, a little music, a listening room above the valley. Rest there now. Rest while the signal continues. Rest while morning gathers behind the clouds. Rest while somewhere far away, someone holds a small radio close and hears the music through the static. Sleep can come gently, like snow settling on the roof, like a needle resting on a record, like the tower light blinking slowly in the dark, like a voice saying again and again, "You are not alone." The station is warm. The signal is steady. The mountain is quiet, and nothing more is needed until the next hour. The hum of the transmitter becomes softer the longer you listen. It is not a noise to follow anymore. It is a steady background, like breathing from the walls, like the station itself resting, but not sleeping completely. Outside, the snow continues to cover the ridge with patient care. It softens the tire tracks, rounds the edge of the generator shed, and gathers lightly on the antenna cables. The tower remains standing, calm and dark against the morning sky. The ON air sign glows in the studio, but you do not need to sit beneath it now. The loop is stable. The message is recorded. The listening window will come later. For this moment, the the station can hold itself. Let the valley be distant. Let the roads be quiet. Let the towns below remain outside the room. Here there is tea, a blanket, a cot, a warm wall, a radio turned low, and a signal moving gently through the cold. A soft piece of music plays through the monitor, barely above the hum. It moves slowly, leaving space between notes, and in that space the body can rest. The mountain hears it. The room hears it. Somewhere far away, perhaps, another shelter hears it too. The hum of the transmitter becomes softer the longer you listen. It is not a noise to follow anymore. It is a steady background, like breathing from the walls, like the station itself resting, but not sleeping completely. Outside, the snow continues to cover the ridge with patient care. It softens the tire tracks, rounds the edge of the generator shed, and gathers lightly on the antenna cables. The tower remains standing, calm and dark against the morning sky.